There really, really is. There really, really isn't. If you two are done being school children, bellboys offer room service. There's no reason for them to be empty-handed ever. Your Honor, I ask that the witness' previous statement be supplanted with this new one. Ah, Edgeworth, are you going to do whatever you can to make the bellboy look suspicious? I see. Very well, this court recognizes and grants the prosecution's event. Mr. Powers, if you can amend your testimony, please. Yes, sir. So you're saying it's suspicious for him to be empty-handed? Yeah, really suspicious. I mean, when I first saw that bellboy, he was holding a tray in his hand, and there was a bottle of juice and a wine glass on it. Juice? What kind of juice was it? I'm pretty sure it was tomato juice. Hello there, Posse. Welcome. If we could come up with some sort of reason as to why he would come out empty-handed, some sort of proof, then I think we can dodge a bullet for this one for now. Proof, huh? Sounds like another job for a court record. I mean, we have the juice. Well, here it is. Mr. Powers! Yes? You're easily influenced by other people's words, aren't you? As soon as you heard that the bellboy might have been the killer, you got caught up in believing it must be true. But, isn't he really suspicious? He's got all those stitches and... So? A baseball bat has stitches. Are you saying all baseballs are suspicious because they have stitches? Well, there's also... I mean, what about him being empty-handed? I would like to ask the court to once please take a look here. This is a crime scene. There's a wine glass sitting next to Mr. Corrida's body. The liquid inside this glass is tomato juice. And now, if you would look at what is on the top of the table in the lower right corner... Oh, fair and well. I would love some Ben & Jerry's, but I can't. I have another 18 days until I can have Ben & Jerry's. So I have to make do with my own homemade ice cream until then, but with some sweetener stuff instead of sugar. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because my homemade ice cream is fucking amazing. Yes, 18 days. Tenno and I are doing a low-carb diet for January. Get rid of those Christmas weights and stuff. Anyone can clearly see it has a tray with a bottle of tomato juice on it. Yeah, my chocolate ice cream is delicious. That is true. Although I guess next time you would like it to be not to be as hard as last time because I had too much eggs in it. The bellboy had just brought this to Mr. Corrida's room. He left the tray in the room, which is why he was empty-handed when he left. Ah, but that would mean that the bellboy had seen and left a dead body in the room. Ah, but you could prove that. Can you prove that Mr. Corrida was already dead that time? Yeah, it's more of a custard. I mean, I typically make my ice cream like like a custard. The problem is that well, I make the ice cream with eggs first, so it is basically a custard before it goes into the ice cream machine. But I put too many eggs into it, the chocolate one, so it became super hard and super solid, and was really hard to take from. So there's a balance there to strike, and that's just the way it goes. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth! Yes? I blame you for leading me down this route! Yes, experience is learned from, and next time I will not use as many eggs in that one. I'm terribly sorry. What is with him? Why is he laughing? Witness, there's now one more thing you would like to share with us. Is there? The bellboy was empty-handed. Or should I say empty-handed? I recall you had something to say about his hands. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Huh? What? That bellboy, he was wearing gloves. Gloves? Yeah, pitch black, leather ones. All the other bellboys don't wear gloves like that, right? Black leather gloves? Why didn't you mention them earlier? Sorry, it slipped my mind. Ah, boy does this make the bellboy look really suspicious. Alright, gotta focus. I can't get lax here. So what if he had gloves? A lot of bellboys wear gloves. Come on, Mr. Wright. That bellboy was wearing black leather ones. So? A football is made of leather. Are you saying that all footballs are suspicious because they are made of leather? Oh. But that man, he received a large roll of cash from the defendant. And then he was seen leaving the crime scene wearing black leather gloves. I don't think that even someone like myself can believe he was just another bellboy. Seems that we have finally come to an understanding. Now then, witness, please continue with the rest of your testimony. The rest? Oh yes, please tell us more. Okay. Edgeworth knows what's up and is like, yeah, he knows he's just pushing us further and further down, and Felix is just, hold on. After leaving John's room, the bellboy went and knocked on Matt's door, just like that. He gave something to the person inside the room. Then the old man just left, without even going into the room. After that, I went to the bathroom and went then back to my seat. So, the bellboy, after leaving the crime scene, went to the defendant's room. Yeah, I kinda saw all that by accident. Huh? Oh yeah, you had like this eye thing. Like, are you? I hope you're better now, Farnwell. Because you have really not had a good start to 2020. Some accident? I'd say you saw too much. And all of it was suspicious to high heaven. I think it's safe to say that we can no longer consider this bellboy to be normal. Now then, let's get started, shall we? Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. You still have it? Oh, yes, Your Honor. Water. It's hard to voice act. Is that what you saw while you were busy spying? Excuse me? I may be a poor, underpaid action star, but even I wouldn't stoop to spying. Well, I think the point is, where did you watch all this from, Mr. Powers? From the door of the bathroom with my left eye. In a sort of sneaky spy-like. I knew who he was spying. Please, does it really matter if he was doing it over or underhandedly? What did the bellboy do next? That's all I care to know. I said hold it! Okay. That's better. What kind of statement is that? Please elaborate and give us a few more details. Okay. I should probably ask him only one question at a time. So, which of these two are relevant, you think? Actually, Matt was supposed to be sleeping at this time, so let's see what the person we can have. So, who took this something the bellboy handed off? Actually, I don't know. What do you mean? I'm sorry, but I only saw the person's arm. Only an arm? Then you're saying you didn't see the person's face? Yeah. Well, it was Mr. Engarde's room, correct? So it could only have been Mr. Engarde himself, I'd say. And then, what did the bellboy do after that? Oh, after he gave the person inside the room the thing. Do we know what that thing is then? I'd like to know what the something was. He gave something to this person? Yeah. And what was this something? If I remember what it was, I would be calling it a something, would I? But this implies that something was removed from the scene of the crime. Are you sure you really can't remember, Mr. Powers? I think it was some kind of small. I would like to summarize the testimony up until this point, if you don't mind. When the bellboy left his crime scene, he immediately went to the defendant's room. There, he handed a small item of sorts to the person inside. As for the person who received the item, all you could see was the person's arm. Yes, it was exactly just like that. Mr. Edgeworth, is all this really that important? Of course, Your Honor. I think it is of utmost importance. This is whatever was removed from the crime scene was handed over to the client. Mr. Powers, please try to remember what the bellboy handed off. Well, let's see. I think it was... No. If you remember, please add it to your testimony. Yes, sir. If I saw it again, I would say, what is the wooden statue? Do we have a wooden statue in our evidence? There's this one. Do we want to go here, though? I mean... It's the only thing we have in the testimony with the wood and stuff. Let's actually just press on this first. A statue? Yeah, it kind of looked like one, I guess. If that's not an actual thing, I'll probably remember, you know? Looks like this one part of I'm gonna have to come up with whatever this statue thing is and show him. Nah, it's fine, Pix. I'm just leading you on. Well, Mr. Powers, continue with your testimony. We're gonna have to put that thing there anyway. The problem is where we found this thing, because we found this in Engarde's house. I'm not even sure if Twitch does do something. What was the point of that pregnant pause? And where did that objection come from? Well, speak up. It was me, Your Honor. What is it, Phoenix? I have a feeling that something bad is going to happen once I show this. Mr. Wright, if you have something to say, please spit it out. Yes, Your Honor. Okay, Phoenix. Deep breath. Mr. Powers, there's something you saw. Was this the item? Oh, hey! That's it! That's something! Wow, Mr. Wright, you really figured it out. I recall we found this at Matt Engarde's mansion. At the defendant's house. What does this mean? It's simple, Your Honor. Should this killer assassinated John Corrida in his room, and then he stole this wooden bear from the scene of the crime. Then, the bear being found at Mr. Engarde's mansion would mean? It goes without saying, Your Honor, Matt Engarde is the killer's client. But Engarde was, like, arrested, so he couldn't have brought it there. Order! 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 I said order! Mr. Wright, this is a most unfortunate turn of events for you. Yeah. Sorry, Mia. No, it's alright. Your judgment was sound. Actually, I figured a bear would come up. If not now, then it would have later on. Even if you hadn't shown it to the court, I'm sure your friend Edgeworth would have. I'd almost forgotten that he knew about it too. I think it's clear here that there's no need for us to continue this trial. I can't let this happen. I've got to do something. There has to be something we've overlooked. Your Honor, a minute, please. Yes, Mr. Wright. There are still a few points left that we have not fully explored. What are you trying to pull? Oh, well, we can't have that. All right, Mr. Wright. What questionable point would you like to explore further? Well, we don't know who received the bear. We do know the. Yeah, we don't know anything about the person who got the bear. There was one thing in Mr. Powell's testimony that was very unclear, and that is the identity of the person who received the bear. Yes, Pix. As long as we don't know who that it was that took the bear, we can't be sure of. What is it, Mr. Powers? If you're going to scream at like that, then at least give us a good reason to why. Oh yeah, sorry. Actually, so I remembered. I remember who took the bear. What? Really? I mean, I only saw his arm, but the arm. It was the Nickel Samurai's arm. I swear it. You gotta be kidding! I was sure of that, Mr. Powers. Yeah, I'm sure it was the Nickel Samurai. Order! Order! It looks like you dug your own grave yet again. How many times is that today? I lost count. So, the person who took this little bear was the Nickel Samurai. And as we all know, Matt Engarde is the Nickel Samurai. Thanks to the defense, we have made out all the clearer. What am I supposed to do now, Mia? Help! You don't have time to act lost. You gotta find another angle to attack this from. Hurry! Now I will bring this cross-examination to Your Honor. Again, Mr. Wright. We've already removed any and all questionable areas of this testimony. It's about time you were removed from this court, Mr. Wright. I had to find something. Even one more little point will do. Felix Wright is suffering, yes. You're absolutely right, Pix. There are still questions left unanswered. What are you trying to pull? Oh, well, we can't have that. All right, Mr. Wright. Okay. Are there any other, like, inconsistencies we can have? Because I mean, Adrian was disguised, dressed up like her. I mean, I guess the bear itself? I think it's very obvious that the bear itself is very questionable. The bear, Mr. Wright? This was found at Mr. Engarde's mansion. However, Mr. Engarde was arrested at the hotel that night. Which means that since the murder occurred, he has not had a chance to go home. Oh, I think Your Honor has already figured out what I'm trying to say. It's not possible that it was Mr. Engarde who took this bear to his mansion. Why, that's very true. We didn't consider that point, Mr. Wright. There's no way, time-wise, for the defendant to have taken this bear home. Disaster averted. It... You haven't gotten the best of me yet, Mr. Wright. Huh? I remember it clear as day. I remember what you muttered to yourself at Engarde's mansion. The killer and Engarde were working together, so to speak. And the killer was hiding at Engarde mansion as its butler. What a bold move! The bear figurine was brought back to Engarde mansion by the killer himself. When it looked like he was about to be arrested, Engarde had him do so. I assume it was because it would be that bad for the police found it during their investigation. Well, Mr. Wright, you've been quiet for a while now. This is too much. Is there anything I can attack at all? I think we've heard enough. We now know why the spare figurine was at the defender's mansion, as well as who it was that received a bear from the assassin in his room. Everything has become very clear. The client who hired the assassin to commit the murder of Matt was Matt Engarde. I saw no reason for this trial to continue, therefore I will hand down my verdict. Thank you, Your Honor, for your understanding. You see, Mr. Wright, you could not win against the truth, could you? I knew it would turn out this way. After all, what Edgeworth has said is the truth. Any last objections, Mr. Wright? Well, do I? What should I do? Of course we're raising an objection. We have to keep this trial going. I will now... There's only one way for me to drag this trial out. The only thing I have left is one dirty trick. Your Honor, right now we have these two reasons to believe my client is the assassin's client. Reason number one, he accepted a bear figurine from the assassin. Reason number two, that very same figurine was found at Engarde mansion. However, it is possible this is all the work of a certain other person. Oh, what are you saying? What I'm saying is, it's possible a different person is the killer's real client. The real client? Yes. Is this all you have? Now then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your theory. Who did you say is the killer's real client and therefore the real murderer? Hate to do this, Adrian, but you're the only one we have to do now. Adrian Andrews? Yes. We already know that she tried to frame Matt Engarde for the crime. By wearing a spare nickel samurai costume. Ah, then the nickel samurai's arm I saw. That could very well have been Miss Andrews. What about Mr. Engarde? If you would please recall yesterday's testimony. The defendant was taking a nap during the break period. That's right. Then, finding this figure at Mr. Engarde's mansion, it was a well-laid trap set by Miss Andrews. Mr. Edgeworth, what is your opinion on this? I can't even begin to count the number of flaws in the defense logic. Besides which, there's no evidence to support it. However, I can't fully discount its possibility either. What's with this trial? Come on, anyone can tell Engarde did it. I can't believe the defense would go so far to pile the guilt on someone else. Unbelievable. It's nothing petty. It's murder of all things. This is to save Maya. This is to save Maya. This is to save Maya. Even if the whole world turns against me, this one fight I can't give up on. Order! 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 All disruptive parties will be forced to leave the courtroom. Your Honor, for the benefit of the defense, I'm willing to play along with this what-if game. This what-if game, Mr. Edgeworth? Well, Edgeworth knows that this is the way we have to do it in order to actually buy time for the police. The judge is not in the know that the killer has a hostage. The only ones who know are the police and our two attorneys here. The prosecution is prepared to challenge the defense theory. Mr. Wright, even you must have thought it strange and wondered. Why would a criminal want this little wooden bear? True. True. He's right. The killer did specially bring that bear to Engarde right away. Why do you ask? Is there something special about it? Absolutely. And I'm sure that once the court knows of its significance, the true killer's identity will become crystal clear. Your Honor, the prosecution calls upon a witness who will clear all doubts against Miss Andrews. And who will that be? It's quite simple, Your Honor. Miss Adrian Andrews herself. Oh, gods. I see. Well, then the court would like to take a 10-minute recess. The prosecution will prepare its witness in that time. Yes, Your Honor. Oh, I knew it was a good idea to hold her hostage. Don't you agree, Mr. Lawyer? But I never thought in your desperation you'd try to pin the guilt onto Adrian. Ah, I swear this demon will pay. Mr. Nick! Pearls? Where's Mia? I don't know. A really strong power suddenly called her away. A really strong power? Oh, Mr. Nick, your phone is. It's from Gumshoe. How's it going? Have you been hanging out in there, pal? Yeah, sort of. We just barely found something to latch onto. Whew, that's good, pal. And what about you? Anything yet? Have you figured out where the killer and Maya are? We still don't have any leads, but... What? We don't have any more time. If we had one, even a single clue would be really helpful. be really helpful. I was only able to keep this going